What's up, YouTube? I have James with me, a good friend of the channel. It's a pleasure to have you with me. I was talking with you that you have been not recording videos to YouTube, and I have been not doing the Talking Cards for podcast for 2 months. So I think it's good to have you back. And basically, the first question I have for you, and I guess we can go direct to that, is what have you been doing, and why no updates on the channel? I'm a big fan of your channel, as you know. I believe a lot of my viewers also love your channel, so give us some updates.
Yeah, like I said when we were talking earlier, I don't think I've posted. I think my last video was in late August or something like that. So time really does fly, and it's been a while since I uploaded. But I started a new actual job a few months prior to when I stopped uploading in August, and so that had taken a lot of my time. And then I eventually moved all my recording stuff and my normal setup that I was using to accommodate for this new job during the days I work from home. So I haven't gotten around to resetting up my setup. So that's more on me being lazy than anything else in terms of getting my setup put back together. But yeah, just a matter of time before I eventually start making videos again. I think, as we'll talk about today, I just feel like there's not much to talk about right now in the market, and your
Yeah.
channel as well as my channel, we probably talked about almost everything that there is to talk about when it comes to soccer cards and the way the market moves and things like that. So having a bit of trouble trying to come up with a good reason as to why I would feel like making a video on coming back, because I don't just want to come back to come back. I'd have to want to have something of substance to say, and so I'm sort of just waiting for when that's going to be. And the way the market's been, I don't think there's a lot new that I haven't said already.
No, I understand that. I mean, for me, again, I like your channel so much that is a big miss. Is one of the few channels I watch when it comes to soccer content. I also watch, for example, Alec doing the PWCC. It's not preview, basically review. I also enjoy that. But your channel, I really, I'm not saying this because you are with me recording the podcast. I really believe could have become the number one channel in the soccer card market. What you do, the flipping game, all of that. There is a lot of people that are interesting on that type of content, and it is a lot of fun to watch. Um, Actually, related with this, since I for people that may not most people are not most all people are not aware of this, but I end up not preparing this for podcast. This was something we are talking on Instagram, and all of a sudden we had some time to do it. But I know in the past you end up talking about this even on my Discord. I believe it that right now PSA nines are going basically for the same price as Raw. And from one that you flip a lot in the market, do you still see that? And give me your thoughts on that because it's something that I don't follow that close.
Yeah, so I think it's just the natural evolution of the market, and yeah, the more mainstream the set, or the more mainstream the card you're looking at, the more likely a PSA 9 is going to be around the same price as a raw, and that's just because at this point in the market, the people that are still in the market probably know how to grade cards or are only interested in buying PSA 10s because there's not really a value stigma around PSA 9s anymore. So from a buying perspective, it's pretty much PSA 10 or bust, and the people that are trying to grade cards know that there's a margin there from a raw to grade perspective on raw. So yeah, at least in my opinion, I think I'd rather buy a raw than a PSA 9, just because with a raw you at least have a chance it becomes a PSA 10. With a PSA 9, it's always going to be a PSA 9, and so I think a lot of the people that are still in the market have been through the years and picked up that sort of knowledge, and this is just the natural evolution of everybody being a bit smarter about where there's opportunity in the market.
No, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And basically, the first topic I ended up putting here, this was very quick, like I was explaining, was the how do you see the market and when okay, this is the second part. When you are coming back to YouTube, I guess you already answered that. But give me your perspective about the market. I will also share mine. But yeah, quick thoughts, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I still do participate in the market every day, and I still watch things, so I get a good general sense of what's going on, even if I'm not doing PowerPoint slides and stuff like that. But my opinion on the market hasn't changed in the past couple years. It's
Okay.
still pretty much as it's been. The market is still slowly dipping back towards the pre-pandemic pricing. Topps and Panini are both producing millions of freaking cards, and there's way too many products out now, and so that is a lot of stress on the market, especially with the newer stuff. There's just way too many sets. So that's my general view of the market right now. Is that in general it's still pulling back to where it was pre-pandemic, and Topps and Panini are doing their best to kill the newer stuff's value by producing way too much of it.
No, I think you are spot on that. I also agree with that. The thing about modern, I mean, it's kind of not a surprise. We knew since 2020 that the direction was this. A lot of
Yep.
product. There is always a delay of what the market is actually asking versus what they are putting. So I think that also creates a problem. For example, in Magic the Gathering, they produce sets two years ahead, and sometimes
Yep.
we have a problem in the moment, but only 2 years after that can get fixed. And I think Tops, I know the window is a bit short, Tops and Panini, but they also face this problem in my view. When it comes to the state of the market, in very quick thoughts/words, I think there is a lot of stabilization in pre-modern and modern and vintage. Modern is a bit weird because sometimes I feel like things do very well, other times I feel like things underperforming, even things with great fundamentals. So I'm actually also in a weird spot when it comes to my PC because I'm trying to consolidate into things, but I also don't want to buy things right now, since I also believe maybe that there is some pain still coming into the market this year. But I'm all over the place. But in reality, I'm also not sure about that. You know what I mean? You have to take some risk at the end of the day. And the way I end up basically coping with all of this is I try to buy things that are things that I really want. Is okay. Maybe even if I'm overpaying a bit more, a bit right now, is something that I really want to have for the long run. But yeah, I mean, the market is a bit weird because there is no catalyst right now. There is nothing
Yep.
happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's something we talked about in Instagram
Yeah.
when we were just talking there. There doesn't seem to be a lot of things that can create FOMO in the market, and that's really what gets the market moving. I mean, when you look at the other sports that are big in our market, like baseball, basketball, football, there's always some sort of a catalyst going on,
Yeah.
whether that be player performance, media attention, playoffs, big games, that sort of stuff. I think part of the reason why soccer misses that is because the American side of the market is so far removed from the games that are happening that it can be hard for it to capture the American mainstream FOMO sort of stuff. So I think that part of it's tough. Maybe as we get deeper into the Champions League, things pick up a bit, but there just doesn't seem to be any buzz around anything soccer related, at least from a US perspective right now.
For sure.
You had it during the summer for sure because Messi was doing his thing, and the US was very hyped because they just picked up the new striker. And so everybody was very interested in that. But since then, there really haven't been any catalysts. I mean, Holland's been hurt. Ronaldo's off in Saudi. Messi hasn't played in months and months. Holland's been injured. Mbappe plays in a league that nobody pays attention to.
That's
So
true. Yeah.
and Bellingham's been the one bright spot where he really popped off for the first couple months of the season. But even over the past couple of months after that, have we really heard that much about him? At least on the American side, not really. So maybe it changes as we get deeper into the Champions League. But I mean, since I made my last video in August, I feel like nothing has changed.
No, I agree. I mean, even Vinicius Junior scored an hat-trick versus Barcelona. Can you
And
imagine
he's been
that?
incredible recently.
Yeah,
I
can
don't
you?
think it's doing anything to his market, but he's incredible right now.
No, I agree. Can you imagine if that happened at the peak of the market? People would
Oh
go
yeah,
crazy for him.
Yep.
Even I like to even compare this versus 1 year ago. You probably remember this. 1 year ago, some people on Discord was talking about Rashford, and we saw some prices going up a bit.
I was
And I
thinking
feel
about that
like,
too. Yeah.
yeah, and I feel like right now we don't even see that for players that actually make sense, because Rashford never made that much sense. But contradicting,
Or like here's another one I just thought of, like Garnacho when he scored that ridiculous bicycle kick goal.
that's
He
true.
has way too many cards now, but if that would have happened in like 2019 and he was only in 4 or 5 sets, his cards would have gone to the absolute moon.
No, I agree. But Garnacho have a lot of rookies. It's crazy. Bellingham maybe have less actually than Garnacho, right? Or not?
Oh yeah, because Garnacho is also in the Prisms or the Panini sets because he's in Premier League, so he gets the Panini sets and the top sets, whereas Jude just got all the top sets. And tops went crazy with Jude because obviously they did, but Garnacho is probably double at least.
So guys, quick pause on this one, but trust me, it's an important message. Recently, I became affiliated with PWCC, and I believe they are the best in the business. If you like to buy pre-modern and modern and even vintage, they are probably the best place you can find for the soccer card market. If you want to support the channel and you don't need to pay me anything, just click on the links I will leave below the video for PWCC, or you can even scan the QR code you are seeing on the screen. Apart from that, I will try to keep all the links updated. Instead of just sending you to PWCC Direct, I will try from time to time to send you to a deal that I find quite amazing there. That said, let's continue this video and I hope you have fun.
But Bellingham, if I'm correct, is still very, very early, of course. But I believe he's the favorite to win Ballon d'Or right now. Of
It
course,
would shock me if he wasn't. Yeah.
a lot of things have to happen, Champions League, Euro, but who knows, and actually his market is doing okay for the market we have. I have, but the thing is, if you look at Vinicius Junior, does not have a lot of rookies actually, and
No.
but okay, but honestly, yesterday the Treble Blue sold. I thought quite strong actually. It was a PSA 8 and went for $600. And again, this is from the top of my head, but I believe on eBay not that long time ago they ended up going for 400. So maybe there is 20%, 30% up. But that's nothing comparing with what we saw in the past when a player really performed. And maybe Treble is also a specific set that sometimes does not make a lot of sense in terms of prices. Could be that, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's pretty interesting. And something that, like you said, when in the old days, or at least when the market was roaring and a player sort of had a spotlight moment like that, his market would really, really increase.
Yeah.
And you still do see that in the other American sports, like football. American football. Sorry, we're having our playoffs right now, and guys that weren't expected to do well and did well are seeing those like 100, 200% increases on cards. Whereas in soccer, that just doesn't seem to be the case right now. And I'm not sure exactly why that is. I mean, I know it's because we have a lot less people, but I don't think there's a lot of eyes on our market right now. And there's not a lot of players that are sort of making that leap.
No, that makes sense. Honestly, one of the best things that could happen for us right now, in terms of the modern market / prospecting, would be an American player all of a sudden playing for Real Madrid or Barcelona and becoming a top prospect, potentially Ballon d'Or in the future. But I'm not seeing that happening.
Not even that though. We just need like it's the big ass. I'm going to say we just need another Holland, but no, we do need something like that because Bellingham's great, but Bellingham already had a bunch of expectations built into him. Now he has exceeded those, and his prices have gone up a bit because of that. But we haven't had a guy like Holland come out completely out of nowhere and be world class. We haven't had Ansu Fati when he came out of absolutely nowhere, and he was like
that's
the next
true,
Messi sort of guy.
I did not thought about that, but that's true.
Actually, I guess we had YAML earlier in the year, but the problem that is going to happen with YAML is he's going to have so many cards. It's going to be insane. So there's not even going to be a chance there. So YAML's numbered cards are coming out now. There was like an exclusive online release or something like that for Merlin Heritage or something like that. And so he's starting to get numbered cards now. Okay. They're going to start so high that there's just going to be no room for them to go up.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Again, it's not this type of markets prospecting ultra modern. I don't follow them that close, but what you said makes a lot of sense. To be honest, and trying to go to a different topic, still related with modern, but maybe not actually, is the sets with the most collectors. This is something that I believe you and me talked in other podcasts. That certain sets, they have a big following. Even though big, we have to be careful because we are talking about the soccer card market, so cannot be that big, let's be real. But recently I've been noticing, and you probably agree on this, that Topps Chrome, everyone is talking about that. The Reds, then a lot of them end up appearing on eBay. Yesterday there was a couple also on PWCC. But what are the top 3, top 5 sets that you believe could be modern or not? To be fair, that you believe in the long run, basically.
I mean, it's the same thing we always talk about, and people will say it's boring or something, and the point is it's kind of boring because boring means that everybody knows what it is.
Yeah.
It's 14 Prism and 17 Chrome, and I think those sort of are in their own class. I think as I've thought about it more and more, and maybe this is just my recency bias, I think 14 Prism is the set over 17 Chrome, at least in my opinion, because it's 3 years earlier, and I think that's a big deal. But and it's World Cup based, and World Cup means a lot. So I think that's my number one right now. 17 Chrome, and then there's a big gap before I would pick another set, but I don't even know what I would put. Maybe one of the World Cup's type sticker sets, maybe like 1970 Panini. And if you want to go more modern, maybe it's something like 2006 World Cup, either the stickers or the cards. Yeah, or 2004 Mega Cracks. I know a few of those high graded just sold recently. I think the Zidane PSA 10 was around $500 or something like that. So that's still a pretty strong sale. But the reason that set is collected is because of the Messi, obviously.
No, for sure. Yeah, the more I think about this is, I have, and I can be open with the viewers. I have much more money on Topps Chrome than I have on Prism, but I agree. I also think Prism have better fundamentals is relative in modern, of course, but I think the narrative being the first main modern set makes a lot of sense. Does not mean that I also believe in Chrome. Even though it's weird to see all the hype around Chrome from time to time, sometimes feels is clear the number one set in the soccer card market, when in reality Prism still sells for more. And of course we also, I guess we can put the Flawless, the Noir, but
yeah, those are sort of in their own different category.
But they are a bit different, right? Yeah,
they're so separated from like what we see as the other cards that it's all about patches and autos and that sort of stuff. So it's kind of its own unique little thing. But yeah, obviously they're huge too.
Yeah, I agree. And in reality, I mean, the best Prism cards and maybe even the best Chrome cards, they sell for more than the best Flawless or Eminence.
Yeah, it's not even close.
Not even close. A specific Prism is not even close. I mean, it was Alpha Million. But the other sets I also probably believe a bit. I believe the first World Cup sticker set, the 70s, is important. Not a set that I collect, but it's very easy to see why that set have tremendous potential. Potential when is a set so old, but for our market, I guess the viewers get the point.
The problem with all the sticker stuff, though, is still all the concerns around the fakes and stuff like that. And I know 1970 is one of those sets that's gotten faked in the past couple of years, so that just makes that so tough.
No, I agree. Mega Cracks 2004. I don't know. I kind of changed my opinion on that from time to time. At one point, I really thought that set had potential. Right now, maybe I'm a bit more bearish, even though there is some strong sales on the set. But I also can see a scenario that the Messi card and maybe the Sergio Ramos card, but specifically the Messi card is very important, and all the others, who knows, to be fair. Because the thing with set collecting is, at least from a European perspective, not an American perspective, set collecting is big in TCGs. But TCGs, all cards matter, basically. You know, there is not like a player that is so, I mean, yeah, in Magic you have the Black Lotus, but all the other cards are also iconic. And I think there is a lot, I believe the expression is too much feeling when it comes to modern and pre-modern sets, that there is a bunch of players that are not relevant. And because of that, they also put down the relevant players, apart from the rookies, is the way I see it. And
I don't really think we see set collecting anymore in sports cards. I mean,
maybe baseball.
Yeah, maybe a little bit in baseball, but like back when my dad used to collect in like the 70s or whatever, you were ripping packs of baseball cards to try and complete teams. Like he was trying to put together like a 1970s Yankees team set, and so you would rip packs until you got to that point. Nowadays, you're specifically ripping packs trying to get some sort of a 1-of-1 or the chase hit of one very key player in the set. And so I don't think we're ever going to reach a point in modern where somebody's going to go after, well, like individual people could, but I don't think a lot of people are going to go after complete sets of specific brands or something like that. Because there's just too many players and teams that just don't matter anymore. And so I don't see a scenario in which people start collecting those. Maybe there's a few, but I don't think the vast majority will latch on to something like that.
No, yeah, but honestly, this is a fascinating topic because I go back and forth on this one. And look, I even made videos about saying set collecting will be big in soccer, and maybe I was wrong because because I'm changing my perspective on that with time. The thing with me, at least, is when I end up entering the soccer card market, my mentality was very around. TCGs end up influencing me a lot, and of course, set collecting is so big there that I always thought that maybe. But you can make an argument, for example, that people love to collect Topps Chrome the entire set, maybe Prism also the entire set. So maybe that there is something. Maybe it's not Mega Cracks 2004 since the set is so big. Which set is bigger, the Prism base or the Chrome base? Actually, I'm not sure.
Probably Prism, because Chrome is only 100, so
Yeah.
and I think Prism's more. And Prism has a lot of no names.
Okay, yeah, that could be an advantage on Chrome actually for that. But to finish these other sets that I also like, people are aware I like Treble. I think in terms of design, and in reality, in modern design defines a lot what people collect and not, because there is other fundamentals, but the card looking good is also quite important. And we actually have a chat, a private chat in Instagram that you end up sharing their Mbappe card that sold raw blue one and did quite well. And yesterday was the same. Two Mbappe trebles end up going for a bit over 1K or around that. But for the market we have right now, and let's be real, the Mbappe market is not doing well. The green Chrome sold for 2K. So the treble selling for 1K, I thought that was quite a big deal. What do you think about treble, since you also collected at one point?
Yeah, no, I mean, I still really like the set. I mean, my thing with Triple is at a certain point it was priced above things like 2017 and 2014, and that's when it gets a little. This probably shouldn't be the case, even though it is more rare and more condition sensitive, and there's a lot of factors I like about it. I can't place it over those, and so I would prioritize the others over it. But I mean, from a personal perspective, I still think it's probably the third best set in my opinion. If you're taking out the high end stuff like Flawless Eminence and all that kind of stuff, it's probably my third favorite set. And if I'm taking out Lineage and Legacy and all that stuff, then it's probably my favorite set just from design, because I and this is personal, I just don't think there's been a better looking card that's been released than those.
I actually agree with that, but again, some people disagree. That's fine, but
for
I mean,
me, that's fine. We're
treble,
just sharing opinions. Yeah,
the treble in terms of design is a really unique set, and at this point, I may have more Chrome than I have treble. Actually, by far, probably, but I still like treble a bit more in terms of design. Then there are other things that we can discuss, but in terms of design, I really like the set. And another topic that I have is the GOAT players versus other players. And I start with this one because yesterday I sold on PWCC a Iniesta and the Ronaldinho. In my perspective, two very important cards for both players. The Iniesta was the level field gold 2017. A lot of people, again, another set that maybe becomes collectible in the future, who knows, that a lot of people like. And Iniesta, of course, is a big player, but is not in the top 5, top 10 conversation at all. And sold, I thought, was quite strong. 500, it was a SCC slab. I know there is always a discount there. And the Ronaldinho was the PSG Wizards of the Coast card. I believe is football champion, something like that. But people probably are aware what I'm talking about. It was, again, a very good grade, PSA 9. Also sold a bit over 500, if I'm not... I believe I'm correct on that, but I thought again, I thought was quite decent, and ended up making me rethink a bit. The legends can also do very well in this market. Specific rare stuff like the things I said, I end up selling. To be fair, what's your take on this actually?
Yeah, I think collectors cards like that will always have a pretty high floor to them, because if you're an Iniesta collector, there's probably not a lot of them out there, but of the Iniesta collectors, that's probably a grail that you're looking for. The gold field level 2017. So, and not only that, there's people that collect the 2017 field level gold set, so it sort of hits a couple different big well, not big collector bases, but a couple different collector bases that are looking for a card like that. So I think those have a pretty high floor. And then when you talk about Ronaldinho, we talked about this before, but his market is not great for trying to find rare cards during his playing
No,
years.
for sure.
There's just not a lot of them because he doesn't have numbered cards and a lot of his stuff is massively produced. And so when there are things that are rare, they tend to do pretty well because in terms of the legend market, Ronaldinho is probably top 20 most collected.
Oh yeah. No,
and-
no.
and so-
Ronaldinho is bigger than Iniesta by a good margin. Yeah.
Yeah, and so when you have a group of buyers for a card like that, and it was a very high grade one, there's just a big floor for it because they don't come to market very often, and I think that's a big deal. Is how often these types of cards come to market, because if they come to market every month, then collectors can keep buying them up, and eventually you run out of collectors to buy them. But a card like that comes up once every couple of years, then you'll have a group of collectors that want it.
No, yeah, for sure. Let me actually already saying that I have to upgrade.
No, you have 10 minutes. You're good.
Yeah, but how can I close that? Okay. So, but to finalize my perspective also on that, I totally agree with you. And something that is super important, and I think you end up talking about this in a couple of your videos actually, and I think you are spot on, is that things that don't appear that often, specific, for example, in PLCC, they tend to do very well. But things that you see every day, even though sometimes are iconic, but if people are seeing that every day, that's no good for you at all. And maybe, honestly, maybe the 7-1 Beast for Messi is an exception because I see that card all the time and still performs.
Yep.
But it's rare to find.
That's probably the number one card in our market in terms of demand, and it's
Yeah.
probably not close.
Probably, yeah. So specific because everyone, but you get the point. The entry point is a bit lower for a lower grade than Alif Baloget for Pele.
You can find it at any price range, literally any price range. Even because if you want a PSA 2, it's what, like $500. I think anybody that's deep into this market at this point probably can deploy $500 on a card. So if you're playing in this market, you can probably find a 71 Biz at any price.
No, I agree. The last thing I want to talk about is basically iconic cards versus rare cards. Is a topic that is no new at all on my channel, but not new at all, better saying, in my channel, but it's something that I've been thinking quite a lot since I'm more a collector right now than I'm trying to invest to be. And specifically in this market, makes more sense to be a collector. I have been thinking that iconic cards are the way to go. And at one point I was more focusing in rare cards. And again, if you are selling rare cards like the ones I ended up selling yesterday, they can do very well. But I bought recently a Mega Cracks Ronaldo PSA 8, even though I think his market probably will still suffer. But that's the type of card that, I think if our market does well, and we talk about this so many times, but I believe that even more nowadays that I end up believing in the past. If our market does well, I think iconic cards will do well.
Yep.
But share with me your quick thoughts on this.
Yeah, that was always my perspective, is that if you believe in this market at all, you have to believe in the iconic stuff to do well, because if the iconic stuff doesn't do well, then nothing of this is worth anything. It's just a giant casino where you're gambling on prospects, which a lot of the ultra modern market is. But yeah, I mean, I've come to the same conclusion from a standpoint of I want the iconic stuff. Now there's variations to the iconic stuff you can get, where in terms of maybe you want a really high grade, or maybe you want a signed version or something like that. But I think the iconic stuff, just because it has such a large, the reason it's iconic is usually because of the history and the lineage behind it. And I think you need something like that attached to the card. And I was thinking about this recently. There's just something about the fact that Messi 71 Biz 2004 was just made as a Messi card and Messi's first card. But nowadays, all the Messi product that comes out is made to make money.
Exactly.
And it's not like made for a historical thing. It's just made to be like shiny and expensive. Whereas 71 Bis was just an update collectible thing. So, I mean, at the end of the day, they were both made for money. So I guess it's kind of different from that perspective. But I think
the difference is Messi was no one at that time.
And people weren't really investing on Mega Crack 71 Biz and stuff like that, you were putting together team sets and stuff like that. And I think there's that little romanticization of things like that, where it's like, oh, that was a different time and you can be nostalgic about it. Whereas now it's you're pulling slot machines. So it's a bit different experience in the hobby.
Yeah, I think modern will always do well in the sense that there is a lot of dopamine effect, gambling effect that people get from modern. I mean,
it wouldn't shock me if modern product continues to do extremely well, because sports gambling, at least in the United States, is just getting bigger and bigger every year. And so Fanatics will open their own sports book and they'll have all this sports card stuff going on. So it would not surprise me if modern sports card gambling just kept getting bigger and bigger.
No, yeah, for sure. I totally agree with that. And one of the ways I can tell when a card is iconic is when I think about selling the card, because I recently, and I've been selling quite a lot, but I'm also buying quite a lot. And I've been selling a lot of low-numbered Messi, low-numbered Ronaldo. And I don't feel anything when I sell them, to be honest. At one point, I end up liking those cards, but when they are gone, yeah. But if I have to sell my Messi 7 Bs or my Ronaldo Mega Cracks, I'm sure that mentally that would be very, very difficult for me. And I'm not saying those are better investments or not, but my connection, we need some base, basically, to have in our market, things that make sense. And I think, again, for me, those make a lot of sense. And even, so this PLCC that is coming, I have a bunch of Messis there that I'm selling modern stuff. And again, I don't feel bad. And I know there is someone looking for those cards since they are actually low numbers. I have a select 2015 out of 20. And maybe that set will be iconic one day and I may be losing. But I don't know. I feel more comfortable with iconic stuff. I also collect ECGs, as people know. I'm also trying to save, for example, to buy a Black Lotus, one very cheap one, by the way, and will take some time, because that's the things I enjoy. And in the soccer card market, we also have a lot of iconic cards.
Yeah, and I think what you said was important about you feel different about selling certain cards than you do others.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in modern, where a lot of it is just numbered stuff to be numbered stuff. Like, for example, I just got a recent PSA submission back, and I shared this one with you in one of our Instagram chats, but I have the 101 Messi World Cup card from one of the World Cup sets. And I got that back and I looked at it and I was like, I don't feel much about this. And so I sent it to auction. But when I look at something like my R9 signed sticker, the 1994 one, that's not something I can just look at and be like, you know what, I'll just sell that. It
it's
doesn't
different,
mean that much.
Yeah. It's iconic. It's different.
Yeah, iconic stuff just feels different, and I think it has to a certain extent, because there's, like you said, there has to be a basis of something.
But I honestly believe a lot of collectors that are because there is a phase that everyone will go if they stay in the market for a long time. That pre-modern and vintage, maybe not as rare as I thought. Now I want numbered cards that are very rare and I will be safe. Then they realize, oh man, maybe yeah, they are numbered cards, but they don't have the same impact as the other cards. And there is a circle that people can always came around to iconic cards, and you see that in other markets. And I believe a lot of people collecting modern right now, if they stay in the market, and that's a big if, they will also in the future reconsider their position when it comes to iconic cards. Because if you have...
if you're an actual collector and you have the sort of collecting basis with you and you want to collect things, I think the very logical transition you go from is, I can't afford Messi, but maybe I can afford the next Messi. And so you gamble on prospects and then you lose. And then you go back and say, okay, maybe I'll buy Messi. And then you end up in pre-modern, or you end up in ultra-modern, where you're buying numbered stuff. And eventually all roads end up leading back to the iconic cards that we all know of. And so I think that's just a natural progression of the collector's journey. If you stay in the market long enough, you just eventually come back to where the iconic stuff is, or you just carve out your own niche and you're happy doing whatever your niche is.
Of course.
I
Yeah,
think
no.
a lot of people do just go back to the iconic stuff.
Exactly. No, there will be someone that stay collecting, Merlin 2020 and will be
Yeah.
happy with that forever. I mean,
Yeah.
there is people like that, but in general, I tend to agree with you. James, we are actually at the end of the call. We have 1 minute, so final words, and that will be it for today, my friend.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me on. I'm still very active in the market, even.
Ooh, I think I lost you.
Yeah, no, I enjoy coming on and talking soccer.
Okay. Yeah, please make videos again because they are amazing, and it was a pleasure to talk with you again. My friends, thank you so much for watching. Do not forget to leave a like. See you guys next time. Bye. And that's it for today, my friends. Hope you end up enjoying this video. If that's the case, do not forget to leave a like. And of course, take a look at the links I leave on the description and also in the comments. Discord server, more than 1,000 members there. So if you want to learn about the soccer card market, that's the best place. And of course, if you want to have exclusive content, take a look at my Patreon. The same way, I leave the link on the description and also in the comments. I will also try to put a QR code right there if you want to check my Patreon. And that's it, my friends. See you guys soon. Bye.